this had the potential to be a great matchup tonight, and the Grizzlies and Timberwolves lived up to that. A late basket by Ja Morant gave Memphis the lead with 18.6 seconds left, and then Anthony Edwards got a tough look at the buzzer. The three would have won it for the Timberwolves, but it ends up as a 2-point Grizzlies win, 127-125. Welcome to Wolves Live. Rebecca Brunson, Marty Gellner. On what turned out to be a heartbreaking night. It was close all night long, but the Timberwolves were just kind of holding off the Grizzlies until that fourth quarter, and couldn't hit a couple free throws down the stretch from Rudy Gobert. Then Ja Morant, who did not have a good shooting night, showed up. And Jaren Jackson Jr. showed up all night long.
Yeah, he was great the entire game. I mean, when you think about the way that this game went, it was a lot of self-inflicted wounds when you think about the Wolves there with taking care of the basketball, the turnovers down the stretch, second chance points. And a guy who they had a problem with was Jaren Jackson Jr. He was aggressive the entire game, like you just said, had 33 points, but he was able to get into the paint. 18 points in the paint, right? So he's such a skilled big guy. His footwork is elite, right? He's active, he's energetic, he could play off the bounce. And that three, even though it's unorthodox, shooting about 40% from three, so he was able to knock it down from the perimeter as well. So he was a tough guard. And, you know, he's a guy when you're trying to scheme for him, you have to think, do we want to guard him with the biggest? Is it Rudy? But is it going to be Julius Randle? And Julius Randle is a guy that has been stepping up throughout this season, guarding guys like Jaren Jackson Jr. who are going to be aggressive, who can go into the paint because Randle has that physicality and can stretch it out and play on the perimeter. But this was just a game. And you think about the way Jaren Jackson's been playing all season, really. He's been great all season. And he came and he showed up for his team, and he was the guy that was scoring. Yes, we talk about Ja Morant and his return. But Jaren Jackson Jr., he had his pulse on the offense the entire game.
Yeah, he was a huge factor in this game and has been carrying a pretty big load for the Grizzlies. Anthony Edwards has been that guy for the Timberwolves tonight. 15 points for Ant, 4 of 13 shooting. But I'll tell you what, the defense that we saw by the Grizzlies, and in particular, Jalen Wells, the rookie, he was guarding him from end to end.
Great him the entire game. You know, I would have liked to see Ant be a little bit more aggressive initially, but he did get to some points where he played off the screen. He was able to give it up and chase. He was able to get in some ball screen situations where he had to play against the double and got out of it pretty good as well. But just, I mean, Memphis' game plan was anybody else. I don't care who scores as long as his name is not Anthony Edwards. So it was a difficult game. You know, Ant talks about playing against the double. He's kind of figuring that out, as you can see right there, getting downhill and getting the layup, which was a great possession from him. But now, what are you going to do when they have people holding on to you, leaning to you the entire distance of the floor? And it was difficult when, you know, the Wolves were playing off of makes as well, because Memphis just set that up. You know, if you're playing off misses, maybe you don't have the opportunity. Memphis doesn't have the opportunity to set up in a defense where they're going to just guard his guy for the entirety of the floor. But you have to still be involved. There were situations where Wells with a towel and Ant just walked up with the towel on his back, right? It was like, you guys take care of it, you guys do it, but you still have to figure it out. You are the guy on this team. Anthony Edwards, you have to be on a mission every game, right? So that's another step in his growth to learn, what am I going to do when I'm having to deal with this all game?
Yeah.
Right? So.
And this was a new one. We've seen a lot of different defenses against Anthony Edwards. This, the way Jalen Wells guarded him in Memphis, just end to end, just clinging to him. That was new for Anthony Edwards, and you can bet he'll have a counter for it. He just didn't have it tonight. He did have 6 assists. That was a positive in his game. Michael Grady and Jim Peterson, this was a night when the Timberwolves as a team had a season high in assists.
Yeah, you know, everything went right for the most part. Well, for the better part of 3 quarters on the offensive side of the ball. They shot lights out, 60% for most of the game, ended up shooting 57% from the game. Shared the ball, 37 assists, as you alluded to, Marty. It was just simply a game where they got out-toughed. Yeah. Made mistakes, didn't take care of the ball when they needed to, and they were out-toughed on the glass, and it created so many different opportunities. I had to double-check this number. 25 more shot attempts than the Wolves in this game?
Yes, 25. 25.
Is it 25? So that's an unreal number.
It is.
For
it's possible to win a game when you lose the possession battle like that.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, and so, I mean, it's crazy. A lot of things went well, like you said. I mean, Minnesota shot the ball at 56.6%, 40% from three. So they made 17 threes in the game. And so a lot of things went right, and they had an amazing number of the season high 37 assists, like we mentioned. So, I mean, really, assists is probably the last thing I want to talk about, but that's what we're going to talk about because Minnesota did share the basketball at a high rate.
Well, what do you want to talk about? The video is showing the assists, but what do you want to do?
It's just really the second. It's the possession battle that we talked about in my piece of the game. I talked about the fact that this team is a great offensive rebounding team. They gave up 21 offensive rebounds in that game. That's unacceptable. Yeah. And then it's the turnovers that the possessions they just threw away. I mean, it's a 27 to 17 point off of turnovers advantage for Memphis too. So I just say, like, you did so many things right in this game, and then you were just throwing away possessions, and allowing them to out hustle you in this game. And I don't know. It's just disappointing. This game was very winnable. There were so many great performances in this game for Minnesota that they should have won. This crowd was into it, and it was it was a lucky shot by Ja. It's an unfortunate 2 free throws missed by Rue. I mean, there's so many things that went well. It's heartbreaking. But you know what? The great thing about this, though, Michael, is we have to go fly to Washington and get it back in Washington and play against the Wizards.
That's right. Because the Wizards are the Wizards.
Indeed they are, and we'll preview that one later in this show. Right now, we're going to talk about Donte DiVincenzo and the night that he had a season high in scoring with his 27 points. He flirted with a triple-double tonight.
He did. I mean, 10 rebounds to add, right? You'll think about the fact that you love to see guards go in there and crash and rebound at a high level. He was able to do that. Added 7 assists as well. So this started in the first quarter for Donte. He was hot the entire game. Really big plays, being able to step back, knock it down from 3. Had 6 threes in this game, going 6 of 11. You see the season high in points, but he just had a calm about him. I think that this has been a build-up that we've been seeing throughout the course of this season. Okay, I'm with a new team. I have to figure out my role. I'm coming off the bench. What do they expect? Okay, you need me to be a starter? I'll be a starter, and I'm going to come out, and I'm going to be aggressive, and I'm going to play on both sides of the basketball. You saw the dunk there. He barely got up for that one, got hung on another one, but I love the enthusiasm. Keep getting up there, Donte. It's really fun to watch and see you play this well at a really elite level. So the things that he's bringing, we talk about his scoring, we talked about the rebound and assists, but just the pace that he has for the other guys on this team. He comes out and he really sets the tone for how they're going to play, how they're going to play in the game when he gets out. He's starting at the point guard. So everything that he's been able to do in his starting role, I think, has been extremely impressive. He had a really, really big jump ball down the stretch, right? So impressive plays down the stretch. He's a guy that from the beginning of this game to the end, he had his handprint all over it.
And in the starting lineup tonight, it's starting to flourish. He had his best first quarter, to your point, tonight, since he's been moved into that starting lineup. And we already talked about an off night for Anthony Edwards, a tough night because of the defense. So you needed different guys to kind of fill that role and pick up some of that scoring. Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid filled that tonight.
They were both really good. I'm so happy that Naz had a good game, but also Jaden. He's a guy that you